whole at 4:05 p.m. to hear and consider reports, passing of recommendations and resolution with Councillor Sue in the chair. Moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Henderson. All in favor, carried.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Let's begin with 8A reports. The agenda shall include under reports items that warrant individual attention from council. 8A1, City of Belleville 2024 Consolidated Financial Statements Resolution reads that, as recommended by the Finance Committee, the Director of Finance Treasurer report DF-2025-08, City of Belleville 2024 Consolidated Financial Statements, that Council approve the year-end closing operating and capital transfers to and from reserve funds, and that the City of Belleville's audited 2024 Consolidated Financial Statements be approved. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? His Worship and Councillor Emery Miller. Any questions, discussion? Councillor Thompson, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. On page 12 of 70, it shows on the Ontario Funding Community Infrastructure Funds, there was two programs, the Slurry Seal and Shave and Pave, didn't get approved for 2024. Is there, did we submit to get funding, or we just didn't get it?
Director Ferguson, please.
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, we did get our OSIF funding each year through the capital budgeting process. We identify where those funds will be utilized. So not all years they're predicated towards the Shave and Pave. So those would have been just other areas where the OSIF funding was utilized, which can be identified within the schedule there for Schedule 12, where we've utilized those funds.
So that's $1,300 or $1.3 million, we would have possibly got it and put it other areas.
Through the chair, for the OSIF funding?
Yep.
For OSIF funding, that's correct, yes. We would still receive that, and just it would have been directed towards different projects within the capital budgeting process. Okay,
thank you. And my next question, page 81 of 202, it comes down into the Shave and Pave and the Slurry Seal. And I noticed that in the Shave and Pave, we didn't use all the funds. So in that case, what happens with that? It goes into a reserve fund for the Shave and Pave, which was about $200,000. So will that get used up the next year and just add it to the Shave and Pave program for the following year?
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, that's correct. There is a OSIF reserve fund. So any unused funds are redirected back to the OSIF reserve fund. And during capital budget deliberations each year, we'll identify where those funding sources would go. And the OSIF reserve fund, we would utilize that in the excess fundings towards the next year's capital program.
So on that same issue of the Shave and Pave, the money that was allocated, did we do all the projects we were supposed to, or was some of them delayed and that's why we have the over?
Director Ferguson?
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, it's my understanding all of the projects would have been issued and completed for those programs, but I'll look for confirmation from the Director from Operating.
Yep. Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, all projects in the 2024 capital budget listing all the roads that were identified were completed. We just got very advantageous pricing last year, and I think we did add some extra quantities to some of the roads, but we did achieve what we planned to do.
So that'll go into next year's budget, added, and hopefully we can do all those roads too. Thank you. And the last one is page 89 of 202. The balance, so if somebody can explain, is I got to get my magnifying glass out. 1.5 million. Does that go into reserves then? Is that what the balance of the reserves is?
Director Ferguson, please.
Sorry, through the chair, could you clarify the?
On page
section?
89 of 202, at the end it says 1.530 something else. So is that the closing balance of the reserve fund?
Schedule A, page 10. Apologies.
It's page 70 of 70 or 89 of 202.
I believe that is correct. Schedule the closing balance of the reserve for 2024.
Of all the reserve funds?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion and question? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. 8A2, Declaration of Belleville Ribfest as a municipally significant event. Resolution reads that pursuant to the Rentals and Bookings Supervisor's Report number RBS-2025-01, City Council declares the Belleville Ribfest a municipally significant event to support Brand Connect Group, Inc. in its application for a special occasion permit for the sale and/or service of alcoholic beverages in connection with the August 15 to 17, 2025 Belleville Ribfest public event. May I ask for the mover and seconder, please? Councillor Thompson and Councillor Henderson, any questions? Councillor Thompson, please.
Yeah, just on not so much their application, but on 8A2 and 8A3, I noticed both of them are the same weekend. Is that a concern with staffing under Mr. Reed, getting stuff ready, or because both of them are the same weekend?
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, no, our staff have been working alongside community services and the fire department and Belleville Police, and no, they do not foresee any issues for managing the event.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 8A3, Declaration of Belleville Caribbean Carnival as a municipally significant event. Resolution reads that pursuant to the Rentals and Bookings Supervisor's Report number RBS-2025-02, City Council declares the Belleville Caribbean Carnival a municipally significant event to support the Festival Management Committee in its application for a special occasion permit for the sale and/or service of alcoholic beverages in connection with the August 15, 2025 Belleville Caribbean Carnival public event. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Councilor Kelly and Councilor Enright-Miller. Any other discussion, questions? Councilor Kelly, please.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Just wanted to thank the City of Belleville, all the different departments for the support again this year. I'm involved with the fourth year for the Belleville Caribbean Festival as co-chair with Jennifer Herlihy. As touched on, it'll be the 15th, 16th, and 17th of August, and we have a partnership with Toronto Carnival on Friday night at Victoria Park, Saturday in the downtown core here in Belleville with many vendors and local food vendors, and the market will be alive and well. And on Sunday, as Councillor Thompson touched on with some concerns with Ribfest, the Belleville Caribbean Festival is partnering with Ribfest on Sunday at Westwicks Park. There'll be music and food and working together, so that was a good question. I'm glad that we can answer that, and the city's been great to work with and all the different partners to make this work. This is an important weekend to build cultural diversity to our city through food, music, and conversation, education. Last year, under a rainy weekend, the numbers were 8,400 unique visits to Belleville that particular weekend. Economic driver for the City of Belleville in that 3 days was $750,000 for the economy through hotels, restaurants, and people spending money here in the city. So big weekend, August 15th, 16th, and 17th. I just wanted to add to it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 8A4, noise bylaw, set fines. Resolution reads that pursuant to the manager of bylaw enforcement report number MBECS-2025-19, noise bylaw, set fines. Council approved the proposed set fines under the Provincial Offenses Act for the noise bylaw, and that the appropriate documentation be submitted to the Ministry of the Attorney General for approval. Can I have mover and seconder, please? Councilor Thompson and Councilor Carr. Any discussion? Yes, Councilor Thompson, please.
On the fines, and the cause for permit noise, revving of engines, and cause of permit noise, operation of vehicle causing tire squealing. So is there a level that we are using for revving of engines? What's going to trigger the fine or the stop by whoever it is?
Oh, she's coming.
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Thompson. The intention of that provision is to have a set fine in place so when somebody is in their driveway and they're just, let's say, doing burnouts or just squealing the tires or revving their engine as if they're just trying to make excessive noise. You need to separate this from moving violations. That is outside of our scope of bylaw enforcement. Anything that happens while the vehicle is in motion will still be the authority of the police. So this is when it is stationary, for when it is just somebody sitting there revving it in their own property.
So this has nothing to do with people coming down Main Street and revving her up and making a racket?
Through you, Chair, that is still under the jurisdiction of the police as it's a moving violation.
Okay, and these fines then, who issues these fines? Is it our authority that we have hired that issues these fines?
Through you, Chair. So these fines could be issued under or through any one of our bylaw enforcement officers that have been sworn in. And the police will also retain the authority to issue these types of violations, especially after hours if they deem it so appropriate. However, we are making a shift in our process to take some of that burden away from the police. And we are introducing something in the form of a noise log for people to actually appropriately record this information when we don't have staff working so we can act on it after the fact.
So people could actually record the noise from the neighbor and issue that to you?
Through you, Chair, in theory, yes, we would just need to make sure all the correct information is there.
Wonderful, thank
First, and then Councillor Kelly, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions. As you're aware, the ad hoc bylaw review committee has been working through a number of bylaws, and council's passed a noise bylaw. I just wanted to point out, because when we get into set fines, there's always an undercurrent within the population that suggests that the city's out to just make some money. And in the report, it talks about the fact that over the past 5 years, no revenue has been generated from set fines under the noise bylaw, and that set fines are not deployed as a mechanism for revenue generation, but instead serve as a critical tool to maintain compliance and uphold community standards when other measures are ineffective. And the report from staff also indicates that ultimately the preference will be given to friendly resolution with charges and fines reserved for multiple repeat violations. So again, I want to just stress that when we do have these set fines, and they are as a deterrent, and I think if you've gone to school in Ontario, you'll learn Law 101, and you have to have consequences for behavior, and those set fines are just that, a consequence for a violation of that behavior. But as it's pointed out quite clearly here, the operational approach from the bylaw department is to try to gain compliance verbally and through direction versus automatically going to fines, and then at the end of the day, the fine is for the purpose of deterrence. So just wanted to have that out there. I appreciate the work that staff has done to get us to this point. And then also the report concludes too with inclusion of set fine schedule under the Provincial Offences Act will not be detrimental if the city transitions to an administrative monetary penalty system, and that can't happen soon enough. Given the provincial offences budgets that we see here, the expenditures that are required in order to maintain that system, an administrative monetary penalty system would serve our municipality well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kelly.
Through you, Chair, question for Ms. Hill. Just you had touched on when Councillor Thompson was speaking to you just about people sitting in their driveway and revving their car or truck or whatever. Like, is that a common thing in Belleville? Do you see a lot of this?
Through you, Chair, it's actually more common than you would expect. You also have to separate the fact that people do rev their engines when they're trying to do vehicle repair, but sometimes people do behave in ways that we don't quite understand.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 8A5, Industrial Development Charge Update Study and Bylaw. Resolution reads that Council approved the Development Charges Update Study dated May 14, 2025, and then Council determined that no further public meetings are required, and that an amending development charge bylaw be prepared for Council's consideration. May I have mover and seconder, Councillor Brown and Councillor Miller. Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. 8B, consent items. Council may adopt consent items by one motion, but prior to consideration of such a motion, members may request that specific items be removed from consideration under such a motion, and council shall consider such items individually. So I think I'm going to go around my left. Councillor Thompson?
8B2 and 8B3.
Councillor Carr?
No, thank you.
Councillor Miller?
No, thank you.
Councillor Henderson? Councillor Brown?
No, thank you.
Councillor Kelly?
No, thank you.
Okay. Oh. My apologies. I was wondering why Councillor Henderson was smiling at me. So, okay, the consent items AB1 to AB6 be approved with the exception of items AB2 and 3 to be considered separately. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councilor Carr and His Worship. Thank you. And Councilor Thompson? Okay.
Point out and just approve 8B2 because it's bringing the situation where safety was a concern, again, on Poplar and Parkdale Drive near school. So I just want to commend for bringing that forward and asked everybody to realize it's another school zone that we had missed and it needs to be reduced in speed. So thank you.
Okay.
I have a
Thank you.
second.
And I need to go back and ask for the, call the vote on AP. So could I have a mover and the seconder? Is that right? Is that?
We have the mover and seconder, they just need to vote on it.
Okay, call the vote. All in favor? Thank you. So now AB2. So go back to AB2, and I need a seconder, please. Councilor Thompson and mover and the seconder, Councilor Henderson. Any other questions? Councilor Thompson?
Yeah, I moved it and we have a seconder. More of a question on 6.14, gift from the heart. Pardon?
Which one is what?
He's ahead one. Sorry, we're still on few.
Still on asking.
Oh,
The school zone.
So, okay, I'm going to call the vote. So all in favor? Thank you. Carried. So we're now going to 3.
AB3, yeah.
AB3.
So, Councilor Thompson, we just need a seconder. Oh, sorry. There.
Wait, so do I have to read this one?
Yeah, you
I
should.
do, I need. Okay, AB3, City of Belleville Grant Committee resolution is that council approved the recommendations of the grant committee as outlined in the Coordinator of Revenue and Customer Service Report number CRCS-2025-04, City of Belleville Grant Committee. And I have a mover, Councilor Thompson. Could I have a seconder? Councilor Enright Miller. And all in favor? No?
Thompson has comments now.
No comments?
Yeah, Councilor Thompson has discussion.
Yes, Councilor Thompson, please.
yeah, just a question. On 6.14, gift from the heart, it was refused. Request for consideration from gift from the heart was be denied, and the staff sent a letter to organizers informing them of what type of items and applications can be submitted for and to reach out for assistance if required. I just know the value of the Gift from the Heart program in our community, and what they were asking, was it just for money, or can I have some explanation of why it was turned down?
Director Ferguson, please.
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, this is a request that was made to reconsider an existing allocation and approval through council for the community impact grant number 1. It was identified through that evaluation process and the eligibility criteria that the particular application had some ineligible related items to the application, so it was identified that no funding would be provided. That went through and was approved, and he request that that be reconsidered came back to grant committee and was turned down again. We have reached out and identified there as well with following up with the actual applicant to go through the grant policy, grant information, and how best to apply for our grant applications for future success.
So she'll have an opportunity to come back again with more understanding of what is eligible, because it's a great program. So I would certainly see them not want to continue because we've turned it down because of technicality.
So through the chair to Councillor Thompson, she'll be as well with the rest of the community. For any of the intakes, they're all welcome to apply as long as they've met the requirements of the eligibility of the program. We do evaluate them, make it clear the policy expectations and requirements for an application. We do a thorough review and evaluation, ensure that they're all done equitably and fairly, and make recommendations accordingly. So they will have the ability to come back at the time that there's additional intakes.
Thank you.
Any other question? Councillor Kelly?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Maybe Mr. Ferguson might be able to answer this. So the grant committee, every year we give $90,000. Out of the $90,000, that's cash. How much money, I tried looking for it, does the city give in-kind services? And do you think it might be beneficial for the residents of Belleville that might be looking to get support from the grant committee, that maybe we do a video on our city website, kind of what works, just maybe more information, because we seem to be getting a lot of requests, and maybe some, I know online when they fill it out and it goes to the grant committee, maybe another piece to that education could be possible.
Through the chair to Councillor Kelly, absolutely. It's something that we've actually been discussing as well, is doing some more information sessions too with groups for like potential applications, not-for-profits, and charities about the number of programs that we offer and the important aspects of the policy and the application process to make it as efficient and as easy to accomplish as possible. Absolutely.
Just to follow up through you, Chair, do we know what we give for in kind, or what the?
Sorry, through the chair. So the $90,000 is encompassing of in-kind services. It can vary from application to application. The total available can be in either financial assistance or in kind. I would speculate that it's probably somewhere around 50-50, but can vary each year depending on the event and the requests.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I call the vote. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. That one's all carried. 8C. No. So, okay. 8C, information items. We only have one item. So, is that in conflict with?
Well, Garnet has a conflict, so he won't vote.
Okay.
But do you want to start with Councillor Kelly and see if he wants to vote?
Yes, so even we have one, but we go to my right, Councillor Kelly, if you'd like to pull it.
Yes, I'd like to pull 8C2A.
And Councillor,
There's no need to keep going. It's
okay,
we only have
okay.
one item.
So, okay. Councillor Kelly? You-
All right, thank you, Chair. I was just waiting.
We need a mover and seconder. Okay, I need a seconder, please. Councillor Brown. Any questions? All in favor? We have to let him speak first. Now you can speak, Councillor Kelly.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So in our package, I'll just kind of do some cold notes. In our package, the City of Pickering have subject line Raising Ontario Works, that's OW, and Ontario Disability Support Program. They're generating some interest and trying to get the province to increase OW and Ontario Disability Support Program. And there's food insecurity across this province, and in the letter that the City of Pickering sent to the province, they talk about the need with the food bank in Pickering and the astronomical numbers that they're dealing with in their community. So to localize it, I'm hoping council and the city of Belleville will support Pickering with a letter. My role with Southeast Health Unit, we know in Hastings Prince Edward, we are being affected big time by the high food costs. Approximately 1/4 of Hastings Prince Edward residents suffer from food insecurity. They just don't make enough money. Here in our area, it's 23%. The provincial average is 17%. So we need to have social justice, equity, and opportunity for our residents. OW, Ontario Works, the province hasn't increased that in 7 years. Think about that, 7 years. The average individual that's living on OW makes $733 a month. Talk about financial hardships. ODSP program, this is where the government supports individuals with disabilities. Single person, I'll just use that example, takes in $1,100 a month. A livable wage in Belleville to live, $21.65 an hour. We know that that's not reality for many in our community. So if you have some time, I would strongly suggest that you go to Hastings, Prince Edward County's 2023 report. Some families, it does a breakdown, cost of food and rent, and some are barely surviving. And we see it every day in our community. For those that are around the horseshoe here that hear from residents, I don't know sometimes how they do it. We see the numbers in our food bank. I think in the city of Belleville, there's anywhere from 12 to 15 different agencies that work with families to help feed them, give them a meal, our most vulnerable in our community. We are blessed through churches and other programs that offer that support. So I'm hoping our colleagues here will support this letter, and we can send one to the province as well, and to our local MPPs, Rick Brzee and Tyler Alsop, and the Ford government, that we need to see an increase in OW and ODSP, and give everybody an opportunity to have a reasonably normal life.
Any other discussion? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Chair. This is the second time this request has come forward. The last one was about a year ago, right, more or less. And we then voted in support of the increase to OW and ODSP. As a result of the approval of the motion from council then, I carried it up through the Community and Human Services Committee to request the same from Hastings County Council, which was approved and was completed. I had the opportunity to follow up with Warden Mullen to determine whether or not we ever got a response from the provincial ministry or the MPPs that were copied on it, and there were several. And he confirmed we did not get any kind of acknowledgement to the letter that was sent. So I think to follow on what Councillor Kelly was saying, I think as opposed to just supporting the resolution from the Pickering, City of Pickering about these two particular ones, I would like to see that the City of Belleville actually issues a similar request for OD and OW, and then I would be more than happy to carry that forward to Community and Human Services in Hastings County again at our next meeting.
Any other questions? Councillor Carr?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to my colleague for bringing this up. You know, I'm not going to repeat what's said, but in 2012, the City of Belleville provided low-income senior and ODSP homeowners a property tax credit of $200, and it had been sitting at the $200 mark for approximately 8 years. That term, the term after, and this term, each time that property tax credit has doubled. And we will be at $1,200 for a property tax credit for low-income seniors and ODSP homeowners at the end of, or into 2026. The intent behind that is simple: as costs go up and individuals need to have a place to live. For low-income seniors in particular, it's aging in place, which costs a lot less than relying on government services. we as a municipality recognize the fact that that increase in that tax credit is important and has to keep up with rates of inflation. You know, it's funny, I was looking back at the announcement that the provincial government provided for the battery plant in the city of Windsor, and they're getting $5 billion worth of tax credits over 10 years. And when we see the tax credits and direct funding that goes out to multi-million-dollar corporations to support job growth, and that has its place. But at the same time, the same government is neglecting residents within their province by holding ODSP and Ontario Works rates at poverty levels, and then turns around and wonders why people can't afford a house to live, and then goes silent and then expects municipalities and mayors to sign agreements to get houses built to solve the problem. You know, it's frustrating as you kind of look at the bigger picture here and see that the merry-go goes around, and we always seem to have to be the ones doing the advocating, and it astounds me that MPPs across the province, when they're not in the provincial legislature, are in their ridings. And they, you know, for us at the municipal level, we see this every day, and we get calls on it and emails about it every day. But yet it's astounding that the province will sit there and say that that is satisfactory, that those levels of income are satisfactory for people, and good luck surviving, essentially. It's appalling. And so I would agree with the comment across the way that not just endorsing what the city of Pickering is saying is, but I would like to see the motion include the statistics for our area and make it clear. And I would want to go one step further, that I would suggest, and perhaps maybe my colleagues would agree to a friendly amendment, to include the fact that we would like a response back from our members of provincial parliament as to what actions are being taken to address this concern in their riding. We're all held to a level of accountability. In this instance, Ontario Works and ODSP fall within the province. And when we send off these resolutions, you know, we can talk about it and it feels good, but it's about delivering results, quite frankly. And getting a marked receive or even no response back can't happen. We, at all three levels of government, need to be working cooperatively and collaboratively to address the concerns in our province. And sending these off, because this is something that we recognize as a concern in our city, and to be ignored and to not have it acknowledged, quite simply, is not a good service to us as partners in trying to lead our community, and certainly doesn't serve the community well by simply ignoring the cries of municipalities on behalf of the residents, and particularly those that are in these vulnerable positions. So I would offer that as a suggestion for a friendly amendment, and certainly support that. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the vote. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Oh. So how would I do? Make an amendment? Yes, please, yeah.
The amendment would be that the information item 8C2A be received and supported, and that the City of Belleville forward correspondence outlining, including local statistics, and requesting a response outlining actions being taken in the local ridings to address these issues.
May I have mover and seconder, please? Yes, those there?
Just call the vote.
Call the vote?
Yep.
So call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Okay. 8D, Rise and Report. Resolution which that Committee of the Whole does now rise and return to Council at 4:44. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Carr and Councillor Miller. And all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to pass bylaw numbers 2025, 122, 123, 124, 125, and 126 be read and passed. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Kelly. Discussion, all in favor? Carried. New business, I have a couple things here before we do the motion. I need a mover and a seconder that bylaw number 2025, 128, a bylaw to approve the authorization and the execution of a medical service agreement between the corporation of the City of Belleville and Dr. Amin Abu be read and passed this 14th day of July 2025. Moved by Councillor Wright Miller, seconded by Councillor Henderson. Discussion, all in favor? Carried, and I believe that's number 15 in the doctor recruitment. My second resolution is under new businesses, a bylaw number 20, that 25 operating budget be amended to increase the allocation for physician recruitment by adding $400,000 from the Tax Stabilization Fund Automated Speed Enforcement Revenue. Moved by Councillor Henderson, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Discussion, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, through you. And I'm really not in favor of this bylaw, as I think we need to take this back to staff and find a different funding source, as I understand it. And I'm new around here, and someone's welcome to correct me, but the spirit of the funds that were to be collected by the automated speed enforcement were to be used for traffic issues as identified by the traffic committee and adopted by council prior to my return here. So I would like to take this, remove this, and actually send this back to staff for a different funding source.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor Carr?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and I want to echo those same comments. You know, I've never seen an issue that gets so much airtime as automated speed enforcement, when really at the end of the day it's to be a traffic safety issue for our city. And I'm going to go back to the comments I mentioned earlier with respect to noise bylaw and the fact that fines are there for a reason. And I know that there's an undercurrent that some folks call it a cash grab. And I guess anything could be a cash grab if you want to define it as such. But the reality is that when there are laws that are broken, and there's varying degrees of laws, of course, from criminal to civil to Highway Traffic Act, that there's consequences, and you learn from those, and then you don't do it again. And I don't want to get into the specifics of ASE. That's something I know that we will certainly be talking about based on requests that have been made at this table. However, the fact of the matter is that ASC is designed to gain compliance with the traffic laws and the speed limits. And as what I have witnessed in demonstrations in other municipalities last term was that over time, as people become familiar, those speeds go down. And as a result, that revenue goes down. And I want to say on record that that's what I want to see. I want to see our revenues go down, because that means there's compliance with the traffic laws, and that makes our roads much safer. So with that, we have to be cautious of the fact that because we've just implemented something where there is a increase in revenue, that we don't use it as an overall reserve account to just take from when it's convenient. In this particular instance already, these funds have been used. There was a tax levy that was put on to fund the Heart Health Hub, and these funds then were taken to offset the tax increase that was already implemented. And here we are now with physician recruitment, and we're looking at changing the way we're funding it. Obviously, we have to look for other sources. What I'm understand from this motion then is that Alexicon dividends aren't going to be able to qualify for all of that. So as a result, we have to look elsewhere. But I would be cautious that on a new program where we have a number of uncertainties and we have a short window of time in which to evaluate this, that we don't get all giddy and excited about the fact that there's revenue there and suddenly we're going to dedicate it to something that has been a long-standing program and a successful program in our city. And so what we need to look at is a sustainable revenue source, quite honestly, and building up a reserve to then draw from. I point to the casino as a prime example. I remember, and I was at this table when we agreed with the casino coming to our community and the funding agreement. Right away, we jumped on reserve accounts. It was very clear in the policy that we don't spend money until we have it. And I think it's important, too, that we allow reserves to be built. So jumping on a very infancy program and trying to fund long-term, because again, with physician recruitment, we're asking physicians or potential physicians to sign on for a number of years, and payments are for a number of years. Therefore, it has to be forecasted out accordingly. Going with this approach right now, I think, is premature. The ASE funds have been jostled all around, but we have never landed on a firm policy, and I think that's where we need to be, like anything else, before we just start stealing from it because we're in a bind. So I can't support the motion.
Councillor Thompson?
I'll support the motion for two reasons. This is for this one program, and we need doctor recruitment. We need doctors in our community, so we're going to go to the ASC funding at this stage. Am I in favor of using it all the time for doctor recruitment? No, I'm not. But, you know, if we can have talk with staff, bring back future in August, some ideas of where we can get this money for doctor recruitment. But at this one stage, we're asking for this one occasion to use this money for doctor recruitment. We all know doctor recruitment is utmost importance. And I'm sure the public would look at this and say, okay, we're going to use this, the AS money for doctor recruitment, which is a good thing. It's not a cash grab, as some people are talking about. This is money that we've generated. Let's use it for this occasion, for the doctor recruitment. And before we do it again for another doctor, we get a report back from staff where we can generate that money from. If it's from the casino reserve funds and we reallocate it, then that's fine. But that's only come up in the last while. The speed camera money is there. And at this point, I want to see it used for roads in the future and with some dialogue with staff in the future. And we're going to ask staff for some dialogue in the future of where we can designate this money from. I want to use it for roads. I want to use it for future shave and pave because it's one of the inexpensive ways we can maintain our roads, because if we don't have to go down and doing sewer and water, we can shave and pave, we can do some more roads, get some more roads in place. But on this occasion, I'm quite happy to use some of that money to get these doctors in our community. In the future, we can look at other avenues, but I'm going to support the motion to use the money at this stage, and future we can look at it later.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Anybody else? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. If I may just pose a question. If we do not approve the funding source that's associated with this bylaw, does it mean that we will not be able to contract with the doctor until this issue is resolved?
You're correct. So this doctor we can't sign. I'll ask the treasurer about what I believe we don't have a funding source. Brendan, and I guess it goes down to, we have 3 more doctors in August that I think at the August meeting will be coming forward. So it's fine to get a staff report, but we're going to back up 4 doctors that we can't sign, I believe, unless the treasurer can have a magical fund. Brendan, I'll ask you that.
Through the chair to Councillor Brown, currently we've been very successful in the doctor recruitment program. So all of the funds for that program, the budget for the 2025, are currently subscribed. So signing additional doctors would require additional funding.
Councillor Brown?
And just as a follow-up, admittedly, the bylaw itself in terms of using automated speed enforcement is contrary to everything that I've stated as it relates from the Transportation Committee, as it relates to automated speed enforcement. But at the same time, I think it behooves us to reflect that we have 12 to 15,000 patients, an estimate, who are currently unrostered with primary health care. And so every doctor we can bring in then I think it behooves us, we need to do that for as long as we seem to be the sole source of being able to recruit. So I'm going to support the motion as it's on the bylaw, despite the fact that it gives me heartburn that we're using automated speed enforcement. Nonetheless, we have the money in the bank, so I think we make this exception, and that we do agree that we go forward and look at what other options we have beyond 2025 in order to maintain this very valuable program.
Okay, anybody else? And I guess Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Good discussion tonight, and I can appreciate everybody's point of view. As Councillor Brown touched on, our community, we've been having these conversations around healthcare and funding, and Councillor Carr has been hammering this home for the last, it seems, 100 years, that this is a provincial responsibility, and we get that. But we do have 10 to 15,000 residents without primary care, and we continue to do primary care recruitment, whether it's a doctor or nurse practitioner, and here we want to bring someone into our community and add more names and get them off that list. It's really important, so we can look at this in the next few months to see where the funding, and I'm on the transportation committee too, and this is a tough spot to be in, but I'm leaning with the residents, primary care providers, and getting more people looked after in our community right now. That's priority number one for me.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor Wright Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you too. I too would support the bylaw, and I appreciate both sides of this, and this is a tough one because the ASE has been out in the public and it's very fresh in people's mind. However, they were put in to curb habits and make our streets safer, and we can understand that is taking place. The offshoot to that is it has generated some revenue, and we have a doctor shortage. And if what Director Ferguson has said, that this bylaw depends on us signing these next one doctor today and a potential 3-4 more, I would support this motion, but I would like to see us look at it in 2026 through the casino revenue. But I think it's good use of the funds that are being generated, and even the ASE, it's kind of a user pay system. So if you break the law, you pay. Those of us that, well, I shouldn't say those of us, because I've broken the law a few times and I've put my money to the to the cause. But if you slow down, you don't pay, and if you speed, you pay. So we've been fortunate enough to generate some income through this. So let's use it wisely, and I think doctors are a good cause. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Carr.
Thank you. I'd just like to request a recorded vote.
Okay, and I just want to ask the treasurer a question. We do these surveys all the time, and I just wonder to the treasurer, what is the number one issue in our community when we do surveys and feedback?
To the chair, doctor recruitment and healthcare initiatives are usually one of the top priorities associated with surveys results.
Okay, thank you. Call the vote. Clerk?
Councillor Sue?
Yes.
Councillor Thompson? Sorry. Yes. Councillor Brown?
Yes.
Councillor Carr?
No.
Absent. Councillor Enright Miller?
Yes.
Councillor Henderson?
No.
Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Ellis?
Yes.
Carried by 6, Your Worship.
Thank you. Votes carried. Motions. Electrical vehicle charging stations by Councillor Sue. Reconsideration of item June 9th, 2025 council meeting resolution, whereas it is important to recognize and promote sustainable transportation options within the municipality, and that there may be opportunities to leverage provincial and/or federal grant programs to support the development of such infrastructure, and that staff be directed to prepare a comprehensive plan for the installation of a minimum of 4 electric vehicles at charging stations within the municipality, including proposed locations, estimated costs, and potential funding sources, and that this plan be referred to the 26 capital budget process for consideration and potential funding options. This is a reconsideration, so we will need 2/3, 6 to pass this. Councillor Sue, you have the floor. I guess moved, we have to get it moved first. Moved by Councillor Sue, seconded by Councillor McCaw. Councillor Sue, you have the floor.
If I could call a point of order before Councillor Sue speaks.
Yep.
Under bylaw number 2014-48, our procedural bylaw, it indicates where notice of motion to reconsider has been given, council shall consider the motion to reconsider at the next council meeting, but no discussion on the main motion relating to the matter to be reconsidered shall be allowed until the motion to reconsider has been adopted. So should we not separate I put this question to the city clerk, should we not be doing the reconsideration whether or not we wish to reconsider before we talk or speak to the motion itself?
Through your worship
I think she's
to
right.
Councillor
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so vote on reconsidering the motion, and we'll need 6 for that, clerk. The rules
Recorded
also.
vote.
All in favor?
Recorded vote.
Okay.
Your worship, am I using the same mover and seconder?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Okay with you?
Councillor Thompson.
No.
Councillor Brown.
No.
Councillor Carr.
No.
Councillor Enright Miller.
Yes.
Councillor Henderson.
Yes.
Councillor Kelly.
Yes.
Councillor Sue.
Yes.
Mayor Ellis.
Yes.
It failed, your worship, only 5.
Okay, motion failed. Next, notice of motions. Do we have anything out there tonight? Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I noticed a motion that we present, that staff prepare a report for council's consideration at the 2026 operating budget, deliberation to implement a water and sewer relief program for low-income seniors in the amount of 10% standard residential water and sewer rates. I'll present that as a notice of motion.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Anybody else? Seeing none, proclamations. First one is July 22, Fragile X Syndrome Awareness Day. Second is July 25th, Commissioner Centennial Day. And then proclamation 3 is OSD SJW Alumni Association will host a special reunion event from August 1st to 3rd, 2025 to celebrate its 155th anniversary. This milestone marks a momentous occasion to honor the rich history and contributions of the deaf and hard of hearing alumni, as well as current students who embody a vibrant and unique deaf culture. The City of Belleville proudly joins with the OSD SJW Association to recognize and celebrate the importance of bilingual education in both American Sign Language and English, which fosters lifetime learning and strong community engagement. The contributions of the deaf and hard of hearing community continue to enhance the cultural fabric of our city, promoting inclusivity, understanding, and respect for all. Having that, I'll go around the table for announcements. Anybody have any announcements? Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I've got a question. I didn't know, I was trying to get it during new business, but is there any chance that I could get a report back from staff on the issue with the stairs at, I just had it here. The stairs at Mount Pleasant and St. James. I've had a staff or a person can get a hold of me saying that they're washed out, not usable. I don't know whether we intend to keep them, and if we are intending to keep them, what's the update? So if I get a staff report back on that particular item.
Did you have knowledge of that to take care of it tonight, Director Reed, or did you want to bring back something for next meeting?
Through the chair to, I'm prepared to answer some questions right now, or I can bring a staff report. It's up to Councillor
No,
Thompson.
if you can answer, just a staff or a taxpayer asked me, so is there any update that you could give us now that's just verbal? I don't need anything specific, but something to tell this person.
Yeah, the stairs at Mount Pleasant that goes down to Great St. James was vandalized or damaged. The railings kicked off, so we did close it for the interim. We are planning on doing some repairs so we can get it back open. But I do know we're working towards the long-term longevity of those stairs, as it is an important, vital pedestrian link in that area.
Okay, thank you, and I'll report back to that lady then. And the other announcement I want to make is that Mr. Reed has been in contact with Sir James Whitney, and we received, and it'll be viewed earlier than just the lighting display in November, a sign with the, for the C. James Whitney with the deaf, and it's in the sign language, which we're very proud of for the Sir James Whitney. And what we will be doing was working with Sir James Whitney on allowing them to use the sign at the Sir James Whitney. They have an anniversary coming up, and then we'll bring it back down to our lighting display in November. And we're very proud. There's one lady that, unfortunately, I don't have. Lee is her name, I think. And maybe she's here with us, that designed it. No, not here. We want to thank her. Both Mr. Reed and myself have had dialogue with her. We've gone over and taken pictures. It's a beautiful display. We're looking forward to it being used, but I want to thank Sir James Whitney for being involved in the design of it, and Mr. Reed. Thank you.
Any announcements going down Councilor Thompson's side? Wrapping around, motion to adjourn. Oh, Councilor Kelly.
Oh, I got to leave.
I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. I get no respect. Through you, Mayor, rather. A couple of things tonight. The Youth Engagement Committee for the City of Belleville met last Thursday at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. Sandy Ramsey was our guest speaker. She spoke to the youth. She did a youth-driven Center for Workplace Development, talking about all the potential jobs for the youth. So really engaging night with Sandy Ramsey, and we're building the youth committee hourly. And when I was there, we had a special guest that night, Carrie Lamb, who is our newest director to the city. Carrie joined us. I appreciated you coming. And I was asking Carrie some questions, and I think it's important that we all know what's happening in our own backyard. 120,000 participate yearly in the recreational programs. 69,000 participants in the pool. 33,500 facility bookings at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. Think of that. And just a few weeks ago, the city hosted the Jehovah's Witness Convention. 4,500 people were in town for that. And this weekend, the city of Belleville and the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center is hosting the Boccia Provincial Championships with the Leatherbacks from the city of Belleville. Great program, Colleen DeMille and all the team involved with that. That's happening this weekend at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. When I'm at these events, whether it's swimming, figure skating, hockey, people talk about Belleville having the best recreational, welcoming facility in the province. So this is a big weekend for the city. And finally, I just wanted to wish my colleague, Councillor Brown, a happy birthday today.
Were you going to sing happy birthday?
No, I have a sore throat. Thank you.
You missed mine.
You missed mine too. Confirmation bylaw. Bylaw number 2025-127, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council meeting held on July 14, 2025. 2025-127, bylaw 14th of July 2025. We read and passed 2025-127. Moved by Councillor Enright Miller, seconded by Councillor Sue. Discussion, all in favor. Carried. And before we adjourn, I just want to make a point to thank staff for supporting us over the last little bit. And on behalf of council, thank you for all the hard work you do for us. With that, I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Carr. All in favor. We now adjourn at 5:10 p.m. All in favor, carried. Thank you.